Good night. My name is Andre Wells. Today I'm going to do my video presentation on the most recent topic that we covered in our module um, in the documentary After Innocence. I spoke about some changes that I would make in my blog post, but I'd like to expand on this topic because it really struck a nerve. A few years ago, my best friend was identified by a witness as the perpetrator in the shooting. At that time, he had recently stopped riding with a motorcycle club that he had rode with for some time prior to that incident. Apparently, detectives went on Facebook, found a photo containing him and many other riders. The witness, for some reason or another, misidentified my friend as a perpetrator. The police obtained a warrant, came to his home, knocked his door down, and dragged him to police headquarters, where he was subsequently charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. They also confiscated his legally owned firearms as well. His family was horrified and frightened. He was forced to empty his savings to pay a bond to get out of jail. It just so happened that on that particular night of the incident, he was at work and was eventually able to produce a time card, giving him an alibi and eventually leading to them dropping the charges. However, what occurred afterwards was perhaps the most maddening. They refused to pay for his door, which was kicked off the hinges. It took a year and a half for them to return his legally owned firearm. And although the charges were dropped, he still had a record of the arrest and what the arrest was for. He was forced to pay a lawyer thousands of dollars to eventually have the record of the arrest sealed. He was never given any apology. He was never given any compensation whatsoever for the ordeal. If our justice system is going to be so quick to punish, then it needs to accept responsibility for its own mistakes as well. Formal apologies and compensation are a must. Law enforcement, as well as the justice system, hates to admit to their wrongs. In fact, after researching the subject, I shouldn't have been surprised to learn that there are no official statistics on the percentage of times wrongdoing or mistakes are admitted by the justice system and law enforcement. In fact, all too often, payouts are made to individuals who file suit with the condition that the wrongdoing not be admitted. Granted, everyone charged with a crime falsely cannot be compensated financially. That's just not feasible because it happens so often. But in a situation like the one where my friend endured, at the very least, an apology should be given and damages awarded for the cost of police-inflicted property damage. If the individual was convicted and incarcerated for any significant period of time, a scale should be put in place to determine compensation for the exonerated. Some potential problems to initiating something like this would be finances, of course. Another problem would be our justice system about actually being able to swallow its pride and admit that it was wrong. A fund should be set aside by each state to provide the ability to compensate the falsely convicted and to compensate for any damages caused when an arrest is made for someone falsely accused. Formal apology should be standardized as well as a public apology for high-profile cases. These, along with an expedited, free-of-charge process to expunge records, are not too much to ask and are entirely feasible. These measures should be implemented immediately.